Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today I'll be reviewing the s.h.figuarts Mini Goku Daima Super Saiyan 4 version. Now I'm a little bit late to review this one, but it was one of the ones that I was looking forward to from the Daima line, besides, potentially an adult version of Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku. But for minis, it is probably the best one, or at least the one that, people were most excited for because it had the most going for it. That being said, pretty much all of the Daima line so far has been pretty good. There have been a few misses with the Goma, even though the faces are really good on it, and the Super Saiyan 1 Goku, even though the figure itself is fine, but its whole release and everything around it was a bit annoying. But in general, it's been a pretty cool line. Anyway, enough waffling on. Out of the box, here's what Goku comes with, and it's a pretty good loadout. They had to go all out on this release, and I think they did just that. So we've got the figure itself, we've got 5 faces, we've got a Kamehameha effect, we've got a bunch of different hands, as well as figurine DLC for Mini Goku, which is like an energy effect in each of his hands. It's pretty much what you need out of this figure, and with the actual Kamehameha effect, it is an actual beam, which is something that is weirdly uncommon with s.h.figuarts. One, effect parts in general are a bit uncommon, but usually when we get effect parts, they are the charging of the effect, so it's usually a Kamehameha is being charged, not shot out or anything like that, so it is fairly uncommon to actually have the beam effect itself, even if it is relatively small. It sort of works with the Daima aesthetic, but just having a beam in general is not a common occurrence, especially these days with s.h.figuarts. Sometimes you'll get an effect part set, but wouldn't count on it most of the time, so this is a treat. Now, taken out of the box and put on a display, here is the Mini Goku, and he looks quite good. It is a whole new sculpt. This doesn't really borrow anything from the previous Mini Goku, just because Super Saiyan 4 Goku is bulkier and larger in general, so they couldn't really copy and paste the parts over. That is also something that I liked about the Super Saiyan 3 Mini Vegeta, that it was actually a slightly altered sculpt, where I thought they could have just copy and pasted it, but they didn't, so it is interesting what they do for this line. But aesthetically looks really nice. I am still coming to grips with the red aesthetic for Super Saiyan 4, just because I'm used to the GT look of the black hair. The red does look nice. It does remind me a lot more of Gogeta, but it does look pretty good. I do think an adult Goku again would look quite nice, but all of the proportions, painting and coloring is really nice on this figure. Matches the brighter aesthetic of Daima in general. The fairly plain pants do stand out a bit for this, just because they are plain plastic without really any shading at all, so they do sort of look a bit awkward, but I do think in general it's fine. Now, for size comparison, here he is next to the Mini Goku, so you can see just how larger the Super Saiyan 4 version is. And here he is next to the Super Saiyan 4 Adult GT Goku, so you can see what sort of scale we're generally dealing with compared to a general size s.h.figuarts. So, somewhere sort of in between, a little bit bigger than a regular minifigure, but not quite, large like the standard releases. Now, for posability, it's actually pretty alright. So he's got a ball joint in the head and neck. Some of his sort of bangs on the side of his neck are posable, similar to the adult Super Saiyan 4 Goku, so that is nice, doesn't really get in the way of anything, but the range of motion is somewhat limited, so it's a little bit it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. Gets enough done, but it could have been just probably a little bit better leaning back, even if you're not going to use that much. The arms can rotate all the way around. They can butterfly in a little bit. There's an upper arm swivel. Ball hinge at the wrist. And bend at the elbows. There's a ball joint in the chest and waist, which allows for some nice movement around and crunching. Not super deep bends, but you get enough out of it. The tail is on a ball joint as well, so you can rotate that around. You can do the splits that far, you can kick forward and back that far. There's a swivel at the upper thigh, bend at the knees, as well as a pivot at the ankle and hinge at the toes. So fairly standard amount of posability for an s.h.figuarts. Again, with the mini scaling, any sort of like dynamic posability is impressive, just because it is very hard to get good posability in such a small package. So it's relatively pretty damn good, you know, pretty much on par with any of the other minifigures they've done so far. Now for faces, we get a neutral face out of the box, which looks nice. We get a smirking face, which looks really good. We've got a mouth open shouting face, as well as another shouting face, which is a little bit more aggressive. The mouth shape is a little bit different. And then we get a teeth clenched face looking to the side. Now, not a huge fan of having two shouting faces that look super close in terms of expression. Maybe it would have been better having one looking more to the side or something like that, but I'm just not a fan when, you know, they are almost exactly the same faces on a premium Bandai product, on a premium priced product anyway, when, you know, you could have used that for, you know, like could have taken out one face and had it cheaper, or added a completely different expression entirely. Like, you know, maybe impact face, battle damage, something like that. But it's just an awkward thing that they do sometimes where you have two expressions that are almost identical and, you know, not really into it. But with his accessories, you can get the figure into some really nice poses. Had no trouble getting him into like standard Kamehameha poses or anything like that. A stand is recommended just so you can get him into some really nice poses and proper aerial poses, because he is very lightweight. So it's pretty easy to put him on a stand and get him into some really good dynamic poses without any weight being an issue. The Kamehameha effect does come with a small stand that you can prop it on so it can be angled. You can also rotate the effect around, so you can do that upside down Kamehameha from the actual show, or you can do it right side up like we're used to. So it is really nice. The effect itself is very, very well detailed. I like the sort of burning effect throughout, especially at the sort of start of the beam from his hands. Looks really cool. And he can pull off those poses no issue. Had a lot of fun with it. And, you know, even if he did have somewhat limited expressions, I do think the design of the figure is very expressive in and of itself. So the poses go a long way and the design goes a long way to really sell any sort of expression. Again, could have used, you know, a different shouting expression just because they are too similar, but that's probably my main complaint about the figure overall. Otherwise, it is a really, really nice release. Little bit sucky that it is a P Bandai release, and who knows if they'll do the same thing if they do Adult Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta as well as Adult Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I have a feeling there'll be P Bandai as well, which, you know, will suck again. But as it stands, this is a pretty solid figure. I did enjoy it quite a bit, and I do like the look of mini Super Saiyan 4 Goku, even if it was really short-lived. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time. Oh hi, I didn't see you there. As you can see, I'm hard at work making new videos for the channel. Now, while I'm happy with where the channel is right now, I could use your help. By liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel, it helps out the YouTube algorithm and recommends my channel to more people. So if you like any of my videos, please let me know, it really helps out. And if you liked this one, please let me know too. It means a lot to me, and I really, really appreciate all of you guys.